My college acting classes were, as you can imagine, very rudimentary. My college professor, who I love, who was the one who put me on this path, he hadn't really read a play since Heidi Chronicles. All my monologues were from like plays from the 70s because I don't think he'd seen anything in decades. I mean, I love him. I just saw him actually a few weeks ago. And so I didn't know what I was going to learn. I was suddenly a TA, so I was teaching acting to kids who were basically my age, who were taking it just to get an easy A, at a Big Ten university. And so I was learning it while I was teaching it. And I think one of the first days I did have an acting exercise that was about like learning to be born. And I went home and I Googled the Peace Corps. And I was like, I'm out. I cannot do this. I don't know what I'm doing. This is absurd. I'm out of here. And then it was really the voice work that kept me in. Because it was really like, I had never taken a breath, turns out. I'd never actually taken a deep breath. I don't think anyone in the Midwest ever had, no.
That's still true for some of us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Everyone's walking around like this, or talking like this. So, I mean, I probably knew just enough to still have some of myself intact when I left. And like sometimes when you don't know what you don't know, there's a kind of, you're not scared. When I auditioned for Erica Daniels, who was the Steppenwolf casting director, I had no idea what Steppenwolf was or what actors came out of that program. And so in some ways, I didn't know enough to be afraid. And so I just like kept going. It's kind of the same way. I'm like, well, I guess if they let me, I'll just keep going until somebody says, we've seen right through it and now you're done. But I kind of can't emphasize enough how critical the voice work was, because I don't actually think it's being taught as much anymore. And kids certainly aren't coming up through the theater anymore. I mean, regional theater's struggling as much as any arts program in a country that fundamentally doesn't support the arts in any way. So, my first job out of school was an 1,100 seat house that you had to, a big bowl you had to fill at nighttime with nothing to bounce sound off of. And I'm not a big lady. Like, I had to really work to project in that space, let alone do a whole monologue in it. And so that kind of like rigor, I don't think we get that training anymore. And it was also things like the International Phonetic Alphabet, which is how you learn a good dialect, like those like skills, like young actors aren't learning that stuff anymore. I'm like, well, then how are you learning your dialects? I don't know. So that stuff was really important to me. And just being able to have control over my instrument is the source of any choice I can make. I was in my 20s. I was 26 when I graduated, so kind of a late start. But like anytime you can bang around in some bubble at that age where you're not going to do that much damage, it's really about self-knowledge. So I don't care if you're in a literature grad program. It doesn't mean you can't be an actor afterwards. You're still going to be banging around inside of some space where you probably have health care and a gym and food and a place to sleep. And that's like we give up that autonomy so quickly when we grow up. Like that's a time in your life when you can actually do anything. And the most important thing you can do is do that. Travel and read books and meet people in weird places and, extend yourself in a way that you won't have space to when you're a responsible adult.